everyone, it's Sharona from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Netflix series Raising Dion, which is now streaming on the Netflix platform. The series is actually based off of a comic book and a short film titled Raising Dion, which was written and directed by Dennis Liu. And so this series really centers around the relationship of Nicole Warren, who is played by Alicia Wainwright, who you may know from Shadowhunters, and introducing Josiah Young, who plays Dion. So it really centers around the relationship, and they're going through a tough time right now because they have unfortunately, Nicole has lost her husband who has passed away, Mark Warren, who is played by Michael B. Jordan. So she's recently widowed and she's now become a single mother. So she's really trying to navigate how to be a single mother in the world today. But also, too, there is a new level of complexity that is added when she realizes that her 7-year-old son has superpowers. And so essentially that is what the series dives around, is really Nicole trying to figure out how to raise her son responsibly and how to handle this new secret of him having superpowers. And so I'm going into what I really enjoyed about Raising Dion. First, I would have to just say the positive images of Black people. You get to see a series that has a young 7-year-old happy Black boy who has superpowers, and you get to see a strong Black woman trying to help take care of her son, but also to protect her son from the world, from people who might be trying to get a hold of Dion because of his secret. And so I also have to talk about the diversity behind the camera. Some of the episodes, Dennis Liu directed one of the episodes, but also, too, we have women who directed episodes, Black women. You know, there are people of color, women on the writing staff as well for Raising Dion. So I do want to give a kudos as far as the diversity behind the camera as well, which is really important. So I also want to talk about Alicia Wainwright, and we're going to talk about the obvious topic of discussion that came when we first saw the new trailer to the Netflix series with the Colorism. But I do want to take the time to commend Alicia Wainwright, who did a fantastic job as Nicole. I truly felt the bond between her and her son while watching the series, and to even see the struggles that a single mom has to deal with. I thought that she handled her role very well. She's a great actress. I was very engaged and wanted to see more of her on screen. But I think that's most importantly due to the subject matters that this series discusses. And it covers a lot of different subject matters, from, you know, some of the pain points of being a single mom, you know, what women have to go through in order to raise their children, how people might not be sympathetic to their situations as far as work. And then also, too, they talk about disabilities, and this brings in one of my favorite characters of the series, Esperanza, who is played by Sammy Haney, who stole every single scene that she was in. I loved her so much, and I love that they wanted to bring someone who has a disability, and even seeing the interactions between Esperanza and Dion as she kind of schools him on what she has to deal with, but also talking about these subjects of disabilities, how it affects young children, you know, trying to open up everyone's mind to make sure that we're inclusive. And I love that they focus on that. Also, too, they focus on race. You know, you have a single mother raising a young Black boy in 2019, and there's a situation that happens throughout the course of the series with Dion and one of his other classmates. And I appreciate them for even adding that in there, and even talking about subject matters that are difficult to discuss, such as race, but how do you have that discussion with young children? Like, you know, when is it too early to expose them to the harsh realities of the world, or do we have to wait? And I like how they handled that whole storyline in one of the episodes. And so I just really wanted to give them kudos for tackling all of these different themes throughout the course of the series. So even though I had a lot that I really enjoyed about Raising Dion, I did have a couple of issues with the series. So first, I wanted to talk about Josiah Young, who plays Dion. So in the beginning of the series, when we're getting introduced to these characters, Dion came off a little bit his character was a little bit annoying, and I don't know, it was really bothersome to me watching the first couple of episodes, but then as I kind of got to the middle portion of the series, when it really picks up, and that's where my binge mode really kicked in, I started to see him in a different light, and I started to see it because he is a 7-year-old child who now has superpowers. Things that I found annoying in the beginning of the series, it made a little bit more sense because this is a child. Like, first first and foremost, Nicole is trying to raise her son just to be a good human being and grow up to be a good adult in society. So you mix that on with superpowers and what a 7-year-old would do as they're discovering that they can do all of these different things. It made a little bit more sense to me. And then also too, with the role of Pat, who is Dion's mentor, he's played by Jason Ritter. I felt a little iffy about his character. He plays one of this kind of like, you know, the nerdy best friend of her husband, Mark, and he picks up kind of like a father figure role or a mentor role for Dion because he's into comics, so he understands this world and what he's kind of going through without him having powers. But at times his character came on a bit too strong. It was kind of a bit annoying in the role that they decided to take his character down. I kind of figured out where they were going like after the first couple of episodes, but I don't know, I just found it hard to find his character as likable as I think that he should have been. Also, too, I did want to talk about the kids versus adults. There are some things of the show where you feel as though that you're watching the television series that is made for kids because the main character, he is a child. But when you focus on what Nicole is going through, this is when we kind of get into some more adult topics. So I would say that the series switches tone a lot between when you're dealing with the kid interactions and dealing with the adult interactions, sometimes to where some of Nicole's storyline has to take a back seat, or we talk about things that we never follow back up on throughout the course of the series, and I found that a tad bit distracting. But one of the big things that I did want to discuss was the issue with the colorism. So for those of you who don't know, when the series was first introduced and they showed the first trailer to Raising Dion, there was a lot of backlash, and that was mainly because of its lead character, Alicia Wainwright, who I said she did a fantastic job in the series, and I really don't want to take away anything from her performance. But there has been a huge topic of discussion when it comes to colorism, especially within the Black community, especially when we see those actresses, the main majority of the actresses who are cast for parts in Hollywood right now, they're light-skinned with the natural curly hair. They kind of have that mixed exotic look to them. And so that was one of the main issues that kind of arose throughout social media with everyone talking about it. And I will have to say, for the first couple of episodes, it was a little bit distracting to me. Now, if you never read the comics or you never watched the short film, which you can find on YouTube, and I can put a link in the comment section below, the description section, if you guys want to watch it. It gave me a different vibe for the show. And because it was, you know, a darker skinned woman and a darker skinned child, it was a little bit off-putting to me when I first watched the trailer, even watching the first couple of episodes. It bothered me a little bit because, you know, it's one of those things when you are introduced to these characters and you already have a vision of what these characters look like. You know, one of the first thoughts was like, why did we need to change this up? And so I do want to encourage, because they do have a lot of diversity and a lot of good things and a lot of great examples of Black people on this series. I wanted to make sure that I talked about it because colorism is still a huge issue that is still not necessarily being addressed. And that was one of the things that really took me out of the series. And then especially too, because she does have a sister who kind of looks nothing like her. Like, they don't even look like they have the same parents. So I was just like, you didn't need to do that because you cast her as her sister. So I was just like, why did we need to do all of this? So for me, the colorism situation, it did take me out the first couple of episodes. It was hard for me to kind of get past, but because Alicia, who did a really great job acting, I really want to iterate that because I really don't want to take anything away from her at all. You know, it kind of brought me back in. And I think when the series really focuses on kind of this mystery behind, you know, what happened to her husband, Mark, and why does Dion have the powers that he has? Where did they come from? I think that is where the series gets very interesting. As we make it halfway through the series, that is when that binge moment really picked up for me, and I could not stop. I had to finish this entire series. I finished the series like in 2 days. Like, I started in the afternoon one day and like picked it up and just binged right through, like spent my whole Saturday watching this series. So for me, I had a really great time watching Raising Dion. I think that if this first season is about the trials and tribulations of what Nicole has to go through, I really look forward to seeing how Dion comes to grips with his powers as he continues to grow, as he continues to mature. But I really can't wait to see what they do next with this series. I really hope that it does get greenlit for a season 2. But what I would tell you guys, definitely go stream this. This is a show that you can watch with the entire family. It's great for kids. It's great for adults. It has great comic book elements to it. I love the titles that kind of come off as comic book issues. And then even like the effects as we kind of get introduced to our villain of the series. I had a really great time watching Raising Dion. So yeah, it's definitely worth the stream. If you guys have read the comics, let me know in the comment section below. What did you think about the comics? Are you excited to watch Raising Dion? Have you binged it already? Please let me know what you thought of this series. But those are my thoughts on Raising Dion. As always, my name is Sharonda from Pay Your Weights. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.